Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll show you how to put this control system shown on the board into the state variable model format. But before we do, I'd like to tell you briefly about the state variable model. The state variable model is a new way of representing control systems in the time domain by breaking all the differential equations into first-order linear differential equations, and this makes it very easy to solve it in a computer using the matrix method. This is particularly important in the multiple input, multiple output control systems. And it would be true to say that modern combat aircraft, which are aerodynamically unstable, could not be flown without high-performance, multiple input, multiple output control systems. So in order to explain it to the students, we start, of course, with a simple model, which is basically a control system that has a single input and a single output and could be solved using the transfer function method and the Laplace domain. However, we are going to do it using the state variable model, and in order to do so, we need to find two state variables within the problem that will allow us to break the problem into two first-order linear differential equations. This has been already done for you in the example shown, because as you can see, we have x1 and x2 marked on our diagram, and it's quite significant that the x1 and x2 occur right after the block containing 1 over s. Remember that 1 over s in the Laplace domain refers to an integration in the time domain, as shown there in the green on the right hand side. So this will allow us to write our differential equations for x1 and x2. And then the only thing we need other than the state equations is the output equation, which in this case would constitute y. So let us take a look now at how we would go about doing that. The first thing is to focus on the x1 and what is coming into it. As you can see where I have placed the green arrow there, whatever is coming into the x1 is coming from that summation block, which is actually summing two signals. As you can see, one of them is actually going out. So that has nothing to do with the problem. The one going up to the F on the top is going out. But the two that are coming into the summing block are U and minus k x2, because the x2 signal is flowing along that bottom feedback loop, and it is negative feedback because of the minus sign. So the x1 is the easiest to spot. But we'll now take a look at x2. Now the x2 is going to come from the second summing block, and the first three terms may be obvious to you because we have three arrows coming into this summing block. One is coming from the top feed forward loop, which is basically just f times u. That's the first one there with the plus sign and the f on top. Then there is the straight through path or direct path, which is actually a times x1. If you look at the one coming in through the a, you'll see that that's just a times x1. They're the easy ones to spot. Then we have a feedback loop, which is coming through D. So you can easily see that's minus dx2. The last term may not be quite so easy to spot, but we have to take into account that feedback loop that's coming through the k, because it's coming through the summing block, which is actually going out to the f. So the k feedback loop is going to have some effect on our x2, because it actually comes from the x2, goes through the k, comes through the summing block, goes through the f, and actually comes through the second summing block to reach x2. So if you don't see that, rewind and listen to my voice again. But that constitutes the final term there, minus k times f times x2. Okay, so now we've got that. We've got our two state variable equations. The only next thing we need to do now is to find our output equation. Can you see what that is? It's really easy. If you said y equals bx2, you would be correct. But what I've shown just before that in the green is the simplification of our x2, so that we keep all the equations that are needed to put in our state variable model in green. I've taken that nice pink equation and I've combined the x2 terms into one, so that basically we have an x1, an x2, and a u term. That is the form that we expect when using our state variable model. Okay, so there are the three equations that we now need to work with. So the first thing we have to do, what we have to realize, is that we're putting them into the form shown, where we have ax plus bu for the x, and then for the y we have cx plus du. This would be familiar, that you're not supposed to know this stuff. You will have to watch the other video that I have on state variable model to understand that. But if you're already slightly familiar with the state variable model, you will know that A, B, C, and D are matrices. So we have to just construct those matrices. Well, it turns out that there is no disturbances, so that D matrix there will be a 0. And so we're left with A, B, and C. So we now combine them. We take the equations and we construct the A matrix. The A matrix, when working on x, transforms it into the first derivative, x dot, as shown there. So basically, the first column is going to relate to our x1. As you can see, there is no x1 in the x1 equation, the x1 differential equation at the top. All we have is u plus minus kx2. So the fact that there is no x1 in x1 dot means that we have to put a 0 there in that element of the matrix. As you can see, in the second column of the A matrix, we have the minus k, which is associated with the x2 in the x1 equation, and then we have the minus d plus kf times x2 in the bottom right hand element. This is no different than when we are doing using Cramer's rule to solve linear simultaneous equations. It's the same principle. So now over here, what about the B? Well, the 1 at the top for the B tells us that we have u for the x1 equation, and we have f in the bottom, we have f times u for the second equation. And over in the C, we have 0 and b for x2, because there's no x1 in the output y. There's no x1 in that. It's only b times x2. So that's why we have a 0 there in front of the b. The 0 is referring to the x1. Well, if you don't understand that and you're still confused, you need to watch some more videos on the state variable model. So keep watching the channel, and thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.